34 years of silence revealed. Incredible DNA test exposes sister's hidden truth and transforms one woman's life forever. Emily stood behind the bar, ice clinking in glasses, but her mind swirled with thoughts sharper than any knife. Just a few days ago, she had sent off that small vial of saliva, her ticket into the world of genetics and family secrets. She had never imagined the whirlwind that would follow. In a suburb where lawns were always trimmed and the sound of laughter filled the air, Emily was ready to unlock her family heritage. At 34, she had lived a life surrounded by authenticity. Raised by her single mother, whose relentless work ethic infused in Emily a respect for hard-earned success, she had learned to appreciate the simple joys of life: family barbecues, Sunday church potlucks, and gathering around the living room floor for movie nights. Yet, with every sip from the tap, that same jovial routine felt increasingly fragile. The DNA test result was more than just a fluke, it was a wake-up call. "Your sister Claire is alive," the email had read, leaving her stunned, breathless. A prominent attorney, Claire was everything Emily had never been, flaunting her success and social standing. Ice prickled at the back of her neck as she poured another drink, dread pooling in her stomach. The last time Emily had felt this kind of weight, it was when her mother's health had taken a turn. Days turned into fitful nights. The suburban neighborhood bustled with its familiar rhythm. Children ran barefoot on the grass, parents traded stories while grilling burgers, and the aroma of summer danced in the air. Yet, beneath that sun-kissed facade, Emily's heart raced with the tension of an impending storm. Could she truly bridge the gap between two worlds so starkly different? Their first meeting happened in a local coffee shop, buzzing with energy, yet all Emily felt was the suffocating silence between her and Claire. The shop smelled of roasted beans and sweet pastries, but confrontation hung thick, overshadowing the comforts. When Claire walked in, her head held high, designer bag swinging at her side, the sight made Emily's heart race. They were sisters, yet everything about Claire screamed privilege, leaving Emily feeling like an outsider in her own skin. "Why did you never try to find me?" Emily asked, emotion taut in her voice, eyes burning. The weight of years pushed down on her words. Claire's brow furrowed, an expression of disbelief crossing her face. With a tight chest, Claire replied, "You think I wanted this? I had to build a life." Tensions rose like the sharp sound of espresso being pulled in a machine. Emily's anger ignited. She had battled her own demons of self-identity in her humble bar, and here was her sister oodles of luck and success, but with shadows lurking just beneath the surface. What does it mean to belong when your family ties are built on secrets? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Turning back to Claire, Emily's voice trembled. Was everything a lie? This isn't just your utopia, it's my history, too. Claire recoiled, her carefully constructed defenses cracking. In that exposure, both sisters realized the depths of their disparity in a world that judged success by appearances. Just as the potential for reconciliation sparked, a bombshell revelation hung heavy in the air, lurking just out of reach. What other secrets might be waiting? As their conversation deepened, the lines began to blur. Could they rebuild what had been lost, or would it remain a fragmented fantasy between two lives forever? Separated by silence? Emily inhaled deeply, attempting to regain her composure. The chatter of coffee drinkers around them faded, and the world outside seemed momentarily suspended. Here, in this bustling cafe, she felt as if she were caught in a maelstrom, where every word could either heal or wound them further. Claire's perfectly manicured nails tapped nervously against her cup, the sound striking a discordant note in the air. "I didn't know how to find you," she finally said, her voice softer but still laden with tension. I thought it would be easier to just leave things in the past." "Easier for who?" Emily shot back, heat rising in her chest. "You. You got to walk away while I was left digging through our mother's memories like some archaeological dig. The words hung in the air, heavy and dark. That sharp edge of anger twisted in Emily's stomach, and she felt tears prickling behind her eyes. As much as she wanted to hate Claire, there was something inexplicably alluring about the sister she had never known. Beneath the tailored suit and the designer shoes, Emily could see flickers of vulnerability, a shared history etched into Claire's features. "Listen," Claire began, her voice cracking. The vulnerability nudged at Emily's anger, pushing it slightly aside. "I lost my chance to be with you. I grew up believing I was part of something bigger, but I was just as lost, just as confused. I didn't know you existed until recently." Emily's heart softened for a moment. "You were always out there, Claire. Living a different life, while I struggled to make ends meet. And now, it feels like everything is just impossible." "Impossible is just a word," Claire replied, locking her gaze with Emily's. In that moment, a flicker of connection sparked, one that could potentially erase the years of silence. "Maybe we could try again, make some sense of it. Maybe we can be sisters." The question felt surreal, more loaded than any declaration they had exchanged so far. Their shared past, filled with loss, regret, and longing, was cascading around them, transforming the coffee shop into a realization that neither would soon forget. Were they truly ready to take this leap? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the cafe. A young man had dropped a tray, spilling drinks everywhere. The distraction snapped them out of their introspective bubble. Emily couldn't help but chuckle nervously, the laughter felt strange yet comforting. "Guess that's one way to break the tension," she said, and Claire cracked a small smile. The moment felt fleeting, but it was a fragment of hope amidst the chaos. With the clinking of cups and the clatter of cups surrounding them, Emily wondered what lay ahead. Could they really start anew, or was it just a fleeting moment of hope amidst a lifetime of silence? The possibility churned in her thoughts, pulling her deeper into contemplation. Yet, in a two-world existence where emotions collided like a chaotic storm, her heart whispered a promise. But what happens when the layers of truth are peeled back, and even more secrets are revealed? And just like that, outside of their bubble, the sun broke through the clouds. Both sisters felt a cautious optimism intertwining with their uncertainty. Would they bridge their fractured past, or would the shadows of their families continue to loom large? The questions were many, and the answers, still far from certain. The cafe buzzed with life around them, yet Emily felt strangely isolated, as if everything else had muted. The laughter, the conversations, they all faded into a distant hum while she and Claire sat, anchored in this emotional storm. Each heartbeat echoed the uncertainty that swirled between them. Emily glanced down, tracing the rim of her cup with her finger. An unspoken part of her wanted to leap into Claire's proposal and leave all the hurt behind. But could this really be the solution? "Sisters," she murmured, the word feeling foreign yet familiar. A part of her yearned for connection, for family. But a more significant part cried out in skepticism. "What if it's too late?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The fear made her stomach twist. "What if we can't just erase the past?" Claire leaned forward, her expression earnest. "I know it's not simple. We both have scars. I've been running from my past, pretending it didn't exist. But I can't continue like this. I need to know you, Emily. I want to know our family, what made us who we are." The sincerity in Claire's voice pulled at Emily's heart, making it swell and ache all at once. "But it's scary, Claire. I'm afraid of what I'll find. What if the truth is worse than the silence?" Claire's eyes softened. "What if the truth sets us free? What if sifting through the tangled pieces of our lives leads us somewhere beautiful?" Silence enveloped them again, but this time it felt charged. There was something tantalizing about those words. They held potential. Potential for healing, for understanding, even for forgiveness. But as Claire's proposal hung in the air, another question burrowed into Emily's mind. Was Claire also hiding something? Was their distance rooted not just in their shared history, but in secrets yet to be uncovered? Before she could voice her concern, Claire spoke up again. "Look, I get that this is a lot. Let us take it one step at a time. How about we start by talking? Just sharing stories? We can build from there. Emily nodded slowly, still feeling the weight of uncertainty bind her. Maybe. We can try. As they embarked on this fragile path, both sisters pulled from deep within, recalling the childhood they had never shared. Emily spoke of broken toys and her mother's hopeful smile as she tried to fill their small apartment with laughter. Claire countered with tales of birthday parties filled with friends and colorful gifts, a perspective that felt like another planet entirely. With each word, the distance lessened just a fraction. It was exhilarating yet exhausting, a dance of emotion that skirted close to the edge of vulnerability. The laughter between them felt like strange music, notes interlocking and then falling out of place, chaotic yet oddly symphonic. Minutes turned into hours as the cafe emptied around them, but Emily felt the warmth of connection beginning to take root. Yet, a gnawing doubt lingered. Was she truly ready for where this journey might lead? How many more layers were buried beneath this fragile bond they were trying to build? As the barista began cleaning tables nearby, a message buzzed on Emily's phone, bringing her racing thoughts crashing back to reality. Before her could even glance at the screen, Claire's expression shifted, a flicker of unease breaking her delicate smile. Is everything okay? Emily asked, instinctively tensing. Claire's eyes darted to Emily's phone. What if it's something important? Before she could answer, Emily glanced at the screen, and her heart sank. The digital world was about to crash into their fragile reality as one name illuminated the screen: Mom. In that moment, Emily felt the ground shift beneath her. What could it mean, and how would it change everything they had just begun to explore? Emily's heart hammered against her ribcage. The name on her phone felt like a ghost emerging from the shadows of her past. Mom. The word held a weight that threatened to pull her under. She stared at the screen, a tempest of emotions swirling inside her: fear, confusion, hope. Could this be the moment she had always dreaded? Claire leaned in closer, her brows furrowed in concern. Emily, what's wrong? Is it about your mom? Emily didn't answer immediately. She felt paralyzed, caught between the desire to flee from the truth and the magnetic pull of unfinished business. Swallowing hard, she finally managed to push past the tumult. I haven't heard from her in years. Not since she left. Claire's eyes widened. And now she just texts. What does it say? Taking a deep breath, Emily pressed her thumb to the screen, opening the message. Her mother's words, though brief, sliced through her like glass. Emily, I need to talk. It's important. Please call. What could be so important that she needs to talk to you after all this time? Claire asked, her voice laced with a mixture of concern and curiosity. Emily felt the knot in her stomach tighten. I don't know, but part of me wants to scream. Maybe it's about all the things we buried. The secrets, the heartbreak. As she spoke, Claire reached out, placing a steadying hand on Emily's. You don't have to decide right now, you know. Just do you want to talk to her? Part of me does. But a larger part is terrified. What if it opens old wounds? Claire searched Emily's eyes and then said softly, You're not alone in this. Whatever happens, let us face it together. It's time for us to break the silence both with each other and with our past. Emily's heart fluttered at Claire's words. There was comfort in knowing she had someone by her side, but the fear of the impending conversation with her mother loomed heavily. Okay. I'll call her. Good. Just remember to breathe and keep talking to me, Claire encouraged, squeezing Emily's hand. Taking another deep breath, Emily tapped the screen to dial her mother's number. The ringing echoed in her ears, an anxious percussion that matched her racing heart. After a few excruciating moments, a familiar but distant voice finally answered. Emily? Suddenly, all doubts faded as the sound of her mother's voice wrapped around her, both comforting and unsettling. Mom, where have you been? The words spilled out, raw and unfiltered. There was a pause, and then her mother's voice emerged, threaded with hesitance. I have so much to explain, so much I need to tell you. Can we meet? Emily glanced at Claire, who nodded encouragingly. Yes, let us, Emily replied, her heart pounding as if it could echo across the miles. As they finalized their meeting, Emily hung up, her mind racing with thoughts and questions. What truth awaited her? What would it mean for their fragile connection they had just begun to form? Would this meeting help heal the wounds or tear them open wider? Claire's supportive presence reminded Emily that she didn't have to face this alone. But just then, a flicker of doubt crept in. What if Claire's secrets unraveled in tandem with their mother's revelations? Are you ready for this? Claire's voice broke through her swirling thoughts. I think so, Emily replied, uncertainty gnawing at her. But deep down, she wasn't just scared of the meeting. She was terrified that the truth could redefine everything. As they sat there, both anxious and hopeful, a new fear emerged. Would this journey be the one that finally brought them closer, or would it tear apart the fragile ties they were only just beginning to understand? The cafe surrounded them with whispers of life, but for Emily, the real storm was brewing just beneath the surface. And as she glanced at her sister, she realized that together they might just confront what had been set in motion long before them. What lay on the other side of the truth? Emily stood in front of the mirror, the remnants of her mother's voice replaying in her mind. Can we meet? Clawed at her insides like a wild animal. She had always imagined this moment, what she would say, how she would react. But now, her reflection looked as lost as she felt. Are you sure you want to do this? Claire's voice cut through the silence, bringing Emily back to the present. The cafe was busy, bustling with life, but she felt trapped in her own little bubble. I have to, Emily replied, a slight tremor in her voice. It's been years. I can't run away from it anymore. At least you're not alone. Remember that, Claire said, her voice gentle but firm. They decided to meet at a small park nearby, where the trees provided a little privacy from the outside world, a refuge from the pain. As they made their way, the air felt thick, almost suffocating. Each footstep echoed in Emily's mind, a countdown of sorts to an unknown confrontation. When they arrived, Emily spotted her mother sitting on a weathered bench, the sun filtering through the leaves above. She looked older, but there was something familiar about her, the same dark eyes that sparkled with mischief, the same wayward curls that always seemed to have a life of their own. Emily, her mother said, rising slowly as if every movement pulled at invisible weight. Mom, Emily breathed, the word barely escaping her lips. Claire squeezed her hand, a silent reminder of strength. They exchanged tentative glances, and for a moment, the world faded away. There was so much left unsaid, and the silence hung over their heads like a storm cloud, heavy and oppressive. Finally breaking the stillness, Emily stepped closer. You said you have a lot to explain. I don't even know where to begin. Her mother inhaled deeply, as if trying to gather strength from the air around her. I know I hurt you by leaving. I thought it would be better for everyone if I disappeared. Hurt surged anew, hot and unforgiving. Better? Better for whom? What were you thinking, Mom? Tears welled in her mother's eyes, but she continued. I was scared. I didn't know how to cope. Trust me, I wasn't living in some happy dream. I missed you every day. Emily's heart clenched. It was a start, but words were just words. You could have reached out, Mom. You could have tried. I know. Her mother's voice cracked. But I didn't know how to face my mistakes. I thought it was easier to run away. The realization hung between them. So you just left us with all the pain? Yes. And I'm so sorry, Emily. I made so many wrong choices. But I'm back now, and I need you to understand there's more to it than just disappearing. The air felt charged with revelations, and Emily hesitated, feeling the weight of the truth like a pendulum swinging above them. More? She echoed, suspicion creeping into her voice. What could be more than this? Her mother opened her mouth as if to speak, but the words faltered on the edge of her lips. Claire stepped forward, sensing the intensity. Whatever this is, we can face it together, right, Em? Emily looked at her sister, longing for that assurance amidst the chaos. She nodded slowly, but a knot formed in her stomach, an unease that was almost palpable. "Let us hear it," Emily urged, fighting the urge to retreat. "Tell me." Her mother looked torn, the struggle evident. I found something recently. Something that changes everything." Every heartbeat resonated in Emily's ears as she felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "What do you mean? What could possibly change everything?" Her mother hesitated, and in that moment, Emily sensed the arrival of the storm, the kind that doesn't just scatter leaves but uproots roots. "I found your father, Emily. And he's not who you think he is." Stunned silence engulfed them all, a deafening pause that echoed in the air. Everything, every unspoken question, every buried feeling, reeled back like a frayed string about to snap. What did this mean? Would the truth, once revealed, bring them closer or widen the chasm that had already torn them apart? Emily's heart raced, and she felt the shadows of her past closing in again. Emily stood frozen, her mind racing as her mother's words hung in the air. "Your father?" she whispered, struggling to grasp the implications. "What do you mean he's not who I think he is?" Her mother's gaze flitted to the ground, as if searching for answers among the fallen leaves. "I never told you everything, Emily. I was afraid of what you'd think, of how it would change things. But you deserve to know the truth." Claire exchanged a glance with Emily, her eyes wide, filled with a mixture of confusion and concern. Emily's heart thudded loud in her chest, each beat echoing the uncertainty that ran through her veins. "What truth?" she pressed, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. Her mother swallowed hard, looking up at Emily with tears shimmering in her eyes. "Your father and our relationship was complicated. He made choices that altered the course of our lives. And, Emily, he's not just a man who left, he's someone whose secrets have shaped who you are." "Secrets?" Emily snapped, her body tense with frustration. "Why would you just dump this on me now? After all these years?" "I know it's overwhelming," her mother said softly, her voice shaking. "I wish I could change the past. But I found a letter. It held information about your father I never dealt with back then. I found out things that contradicted everything I believed. There's more to his story, and it connects to yours." A whirlwind of emotions crashed over Emily like waves breaking against a rocky shore. She fought to grasp her spiraling thoughts. "What do you mean connects to me? How could he be involved in something that makes my whole life a lie?" "Because of a DNA test that wasn't supposed to be part of the story," her mother replied, her own voice barely above a whisper. "It revealed family ties I never even knew existed." Emily clenched her fists, breathing hard. "So this isn't just about you. This is about me too. My identity is built on lies?" The truth was suffocating. She felt the weight of her mother's history crashing down on her, simultaneously causing a knot of panic to well in her chest. She looked around the park, the laughter of children and barking of dogs felt distant and alien. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," her mother said, reaching out, but Emily stepped back, confusion clawing at her insides. She felt a wave of conflicting emotions wash over her: betrayal, anger, sadness. "How could you keep this from me? Did you even think about how I would feel finding this out now?" "It was harder to share than you can imagine," her mother replied, tears spilling down her cheeks. "There hasn't been a day I didn't think about how this would affect you. But I wanted to protect you and I failed." Emily's breathing grew shallow, the air around them thick with tension. This wasn't just a simple family visit. It felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, unsure whether to leap or hold back. "So what now?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "What do I do with this?" "Whatever you wish," her mother said, her voice quiet. "But facing this is the only way to move forward. I can help you, but only if you're willing to let me." Claire placed a comforting hand on Emily's shoulder, grounding her in the chaos of revelations. The world around them faded, only their small circle remained charged with uncertainty. Emily's pulse raced as she looked from her mother to Claire. "Do we even know where to start?" Her mother's face hardened as if steeling herself for whatever was coming next. Yes. We find your father, we discover his truth together. And maybe, just maybe, you'll learn who you really are. The enormity of those words sunk deep, reverberating inside Emily like distant thunder. She felt the sharp edges of fear and curiosity clash within her. What if I don't like what I find? Emily whispered, an ache forming in her chest. We can only cross that bridge when we come to it, her mother replied. But I promise I'll be there with you. Just as Emily began to forge a path through her tangled emotions, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, her breath catching in her throat as she read the unexpected message. We need to talk, it said. Your father has been looking for you. Her stomach dropped. Was she ready for this? Could she face the man who had been a ghost her entire life? With uncertainty thick in the air, Emily raised her eyes, meeting her mother's gaze. What do we do now? The question hung, heavy and expectant, sparking a new chapter that awaited them all. Emily stared at her phone, the words on the screen blurring as a sudden rush of adrenaline coursed through her. Your father has been looking for you. The weight of that message sank in like a boulder in her chest. Claire stepped closer, her eyebrows knitted in concern. What does it say? Just that he's looking for me. Emily's voice trembled, conflicted with emotions that were hard to pin down. Part of her wanted to run away, hide from this reality, while another part felt a strange pull, an urge to face the unknown. Her mother took a deep breath, measuring her words. This is what we've been talking about. It's time to confront the truth. Emily felt the resistance rise within her. But what if he doesn't want to see me? What if he's different from what I imagined? Then you'll deal with it as it comes, her mother replied gently. You can't change what has happened, but you can choose how you respond. Emily felt a knot in her throat. What if everything I thought I knew about myself it just crumbles in front of me? Then maybe it's time to build a new understanding of yourself, Claire added, her voice steady. You don't have to do this alone, Em. You've got us. She nodded, overwhelmed. The thought of facing her father stirred a mix of excitement and fear. Did he even want her? Did he regret abandoning her? As if sensing the turmoil within her, her mother stepped forward, taking Emily's hand. We'll reach out. And if you want to talk to him, I'll be right here with you. Just take a breath. The moment felt suspended in time, and Emily took a deep breath, willing herself to focus. Okay, she finally whispered, her jaw set with determination. Let us do this. First things first, we should see if there's more in that letter I found. There might be clues, something that sheds light on who he really is, her mother suggested. With a small gesture of agreement, they made their way to the car. The air felt charged, swirled with the scents of pine and the crispness of autumn. For the first time, the world felt vibrant yet daunting, each sound amplified, the crunch of leaves, the laughter of children, the wind rustling through the branches. The drive back to the house was silent, the hum of the engine a soft reminder of the conversation that loomed ahead. Emily's heart raced with anticipation. As they pulled into the driveway, a sense of purpose washed over her. There was no point in delaying. Once inside, Emily followed her mother to the small home office where she kept old boxes stacked in the corner. I put everything in here, her mother said, rifling through the clutter. I just never thought I would need to revisit all of this. Minutes passed, filled with the sounds of paper rustling and the occasional sigh. Emily felt restless as if the walls of the room were closing in. But patience was essential now. I know I found that letter around last summer. You can see the time's effect on it, her mother said, finally holding up a yellowed envelope. This must be it. Emily's eyes landed on the unfamiliar handwriting, and a chill ran through her. What does it say? Her mother hesitated, fingers trembling before she opened it. The ink was faded, but the words were still legible. As her mother read aloud, every syllable vibrated through Emily, weaving a path toward an answer she desperately needed. And then they reached a name. And John, your father, inherited a legacy far beyond our understanding. It's vital you. Emily's breath hitched. What legacy? What did he leave behind? Her mother looked at her, uncertainty weighing on her features. We have to find out. As they pieced together the last lines of the letter, the enormity of the moment pressed in on them. Emily's heart raced wildly again, this time with the possibility of discovering not just about her father but about herself. The phone buzzed again, jolting her from her thoughts. A new notification from an unknown number appeared. Meet me at the diner. I need to talk. Emily felt a shiver of fear and excitement rush through her. She was one step closer to unraveling the tangled web of her life, and this time, she wouldn't back down. Could this be the moment she finally confronted her father, the one who shaped her existence from afar? With a newfound resolve, she stood straighter. I need to go, she said, her eyes darting toward Claire. I can't wait anymore. But as the words left her lips, doubt crept back in, filling her with uncertainty. Could she really face him after all this time? With her heart hammering in her chest, Emily took a deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. Would this be the moment everything changed? Emily stood at the door, a storm of emotions swirling inside her. I can't believe I'm actually doing this, she murmured under her breath. Claire's reassuring hand on her shoulder grounded her. You are strong enough to face whatever comes next. Just remember, I'm here for you. Taking one last look at the cozy warmth of their home, Emily pushed open the door and stepped outside. The chill in the evening air bit against her skin, igniting a fire of urgency within her. Each step toward the diner felt monumental, like walking toward a truth that had been hidden away for far too long. The streets were sparsely lit, casting eerie shadows that danced in the corners of her vision. Emily clenched her fists, trying to summon bravery with every heartbeat that echoed in her ears. How did I let it get to this point? The thought spiraled, but she refused to let doubt win. As she approached the diner, the neon sign flickered, a quiet beacon illuminating her way. The bell above the door jingled as she walked in, and the familiar scent of greasy fries and burnt coffee enveloped her. Emily scanned the room, her heart racing at the thought of finding the man whose shadow had long loomed over her life. There, in a booth tucked toward the back, sat a figure with his back toward her. She could tell it was him simply from the way he slumped, as if the weight of the years pressed heavily on his shoulders. A trembling breath escaped her lips as she moved closer, each step heavy with uncertainty. John. Her voice came out a whisper, laced with nerves that he turned, and for a moment, time seemed to freeze. The resemblance was striking, the same wild, dark curls, the deep-set eyes that held stories untold. Yet there was something worn about his face that deepened the lines of worry etched into his skin. Emily, he breathed, the name a shockwave between them. It felt surreal, a dream where the boundaries of reality rippled with every word spoken. She tried to control the tremors in her hands, a mix of anger and yearning boiling beneath the surface. You wanted to see me. Why now? Her voice steadied with resolve, despite the emotions clawing for release. He sighed, his expression a cocktail of regret and longing. I know I've hurt you, more than you can understand. I wish I could take it all back. His words hung in the air, heavy with the gravity of their shared history. But there was no way Emily could give in easily. You vanished. What could you possibly say that would make this okay? I had my reasons, he said, desperation creeping into his tone. But none of them are worth it now. I should have been there. She swallowed hard, every moment of lost birthdays and broken dreams crashing down on her. What about the legacy you left behind? I need to know more about it. His eyes widened, reflecting some conflicting emotion. You found the letter, didn't you? It's more than just words, Emily. It's tell me. She interrupted, desperate for clarity. I need to understand why you turned your back on me, on us. He shifted in his seat, fingers fidgeting with the straw in his glass. I'm trying to make sense of it all myself. There are secrets, things I shielded you from to protect you. But I realize now that keeping you in the dark was all wrong. The weight of his admission made her heart ache. It was a glimmer of truth, but not enough. Then enlighten me. I deserve that. The diner was quiet aside from the occasional clatter from the kitchen and the low hum of chatter from a nearby table. But the world around them faded, centering on the hurt, the missed opportunities, and the tangled threads of their lives. John cleared his throat. I can't explain it all right now, but you're part of something much bigger than you realize. Your past, your identity, it's intertwined with a legacy I never wanted to pass on. Emily's heart twisted. What are you saying? The door swung open, letting in a gust of wind, but for Emily, the chill emanated from John's words. I'll tell you everything, but it won't be easy. There are things I regret, things that go beyond just me. As silence enveloped them, Emily felt a wave of dread wash over her. Was this the moment where everything she knew about her family and herself would shatter? With questions swelling in her mind and a pounding in her chest, she braced herself, ready to uncover the mysteries that had haunted her for so long. Could the truth set her free, or would it only pile on more pain? Okay, she breathed, drawing strength from within. Let us start from the beginning. And just as she was about to hear the first slices of a past interrupted, a figure outside caught her eye, casting a shadow that felt too familiar. Who else had been watching this moment unfold? Suddenly, the realization dawned. The past held more than just her father. Maybe there were others who were tied to her journey, too. Emily's pulse quickened. What revelations awaited her now? Emily's heart hammered in her chest as she turned her gaze back to John. The flickering overhead lights cast shadows over his face, highlighting the tension drawn tight across his features. There was so much riding on this moment, and she needed to focus. Who is it? She asked, trying to keep the tremor from her voice. Who's outside? John's brow furrowed, his eyes darting toward the door. I don't know. I didn't see anyone. Then why do I feel like someone's watching us? The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. She hadn't felt this exposed in years, and it scared her more than anything. Without replying, John leaned toward her, urgency etched into every line of his face. Emily, listen to me. There's something you need to. Before he could finish, the diner's door swung open violently. A cold breeze swept through, and in strode a woman, her presence commanding instant attention. Her dark hair fell around her shoulders, and the way she moved, with purpose and confidence, sent a jolt of recognition through Emily. Anna. Emily gasped, disbelief washing over her. It was the sister she hadn't known she had, the one mentioned only in fleeting whispers throughout her childhood. Anna's piercing gaze settled on John, her lips forming a thin line. So, you've finally decided to come clean, she said, the bitterness evident in her tone. John recoiled slightly, his expression a mix of guilt and anger. This isn't how it should have happened, Anna. We were supposed to handle this differently. Different how? Anna snapped, crossing her arms defiantly. Pretend she doesn't exist? Because you're great at that. Emily felt her breath catch. This was the moment she had been dreading, the unveiling of family secrets that could change everything. She wanted to shout, to demand answers, but all she could manage was a simple, "What's going on?" Emily, John said, voice low and firm. Listen. I never wanted you to find out this way, but Anna is your sister. Shock coursed through her, a mix of disbelief and bitter understanding. It wasn't just a legacy, it was a lineage filled with tangled truths and hidden paths. Why did you keep this from me? She asked, turning her frustration toward John. Your own daughter. And why the secrets? Because I thought I was protecting you. He shot back, desperation leaking into his tone. Your mother, she wanted to shield you from the chaos of our family. But Anna is part of it, too. It's not just about me. Anna took a step closer, her expression softening slightly. We were lied to, Emily. All these years. It's not just about our father's mistakes. It's about understanding who we are, a truth buried under so many lies. Overwhelmed with emotion, tears brimmed in Emily's eyes. She felt lost, standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into the abyss of her family's hidden turmoil. What do you mean, buried? Every family has its shadows, Anna continued, voice steady but fierce. But it's time we bring them into the light. You have every right to know what we've been through, the betrayals, the sacrifices. It's a toxic legacy that must end with us. Emily's heart raced with a strange mix of anger and longing. And if I don't want any part of it? Anna's response was measured, her eyes unyielding. You already do. Whether you like it or not. It's in your blood, and it defines your choices every day. So, you can either embrace it and fight or let it crush you. John's face softened, pity washing over him. We all want you to understand, Emily. This is not just about the past, it's about the future we didn't plan for but must face together. With those words, a fragile silence fell upon the diner. Emily felt the weight of the knowledge press down on her chest, suffocating yet liberating at the same time. She glanced from Anna to John and back again, struggling to process this new reality. The diner's door creaked open again, and a gust of wind reminded Emily that she was still standing on the precipice of discovery. With each heartbeat, she was faced with a choice: how deep did she want to plunge into this tangled web of family secrets? A flicker of resolve ignited within her. If I'm part of this family, she declared, then opened the door to the truth. I want to know everything, no more hiding. But will the ghosts of the past reveal themselves in a way that's too painful to bear? As the tension grew, she couldn't shake the sense that more was lurking just around the corner. Emily had no idea what awaited her, but the stakes were higher than ever. The diner was steeped in silence, electric with the weight of unspoken truths. Emily felt an ocean of emotions swell within her. With Anna and John both staring at her, she stood on the brink of something monumental. Plotting the course of her future lay behind every shadow and spilled secret. Are you ready to hear it? John's voice broke the stalemate. It was more than a question, it was an invitation into a world of chaos and clarity, a chance for connection instead of disconnection. Emily could see the desperation in his eyes. Somehow, amidst the tangled threads of betrayal, there was a willingness to mend what had been broken. Yes, I need to know, she breathed, her heart racing. The tension rose like steam in the air, thick and tangible. John shifted, visibly struggling with the weight of his words. This conversation was a fragile thread connecting 3 lives forever altered. The letter I wrote. I buried the truth within it. I thought I was protecting you from a legacy filled with disappointment. But that tarnished legacy is part of who you are, Emily. Emily's breath caught at the heaviness of his admissions. He seemed miles away, caught between the past and the present. Forcing a shaky breath, she asked the question that had rested heavily on her heart. What do you mean, legacy? John's voice turned gravelly with strain. Your father was not just a man who left, he was involved in something dangerous. He made choices swallowed into the underbelly of business dealings, things I never wanted to drag you into. This family, our family, has secrets that could shatter the gilded image your mother tried to create. Emily's stomach churned, she was standing in quicksand, and every revelation pulled her under. So, I'm part of something larger? Something I have no control over? The resentment that poured from her felt like an animal clawing out of its cage. Yes, Anna interjected, urgency carving her features. But it's not just some fate we have to accept. This is about reclaiming our story. We don't have to be defined by our past. Emily's eyes flickered over to her sister. In that moment, she recognized the fire behind Anna's eyes. It mirrored her own. Though their paths had diverged in unbelievable ways, they held the same yearning, the wish to uncover, heal, and grow. As voices clattered around them, Emily felt the gravity of the diner's muffled conversations dissipate, leaving just the 3 of them amidst the chaos. We have to confront the truth together, she whispered with determination. No more hiding. John looked somber, yet something flickered behind his gaze, a glimmer of hope. Then we will begin with your father. If he is truly seeking you, it's time for you 2 to meet. I can help facilitate this. Keenness burst within Emily. There it was, the dilapidated bridge that could reconnect them after a lifetime of neglect. I want to talk to him. Now. She felt adrenaline spike through her veins, propelling her forward. Emily, wait. Claire's voice, firm with worry, tried to temper her excitement. She stepped away from the edge of anger and concern. It's not just about confronting him, it's about preparing yourself for what you may find. Are you sure? A moment stretched, wrapping around them in a long thread of silence. Emily's chest tightened. Was she ready to plunge further into the depths of her reality? Looking from Claire to Anna to John, the gravity of the decision weighed down on her. But with each fleeting second, the warmth of support behind her gave her wings. If I don't dive into it now, when will I? I've waited long enough. With newfound resolve, she turned towards her father. Tell me everything you know about him. I won tea back down. The fire in Emily's gaze seemed to ignite something in John. Very well, he nodded slowly, the ghost of regret lingering behind each glance as he began. When I first met your father, he was young, full of ambition but unaware of the darkness that surrounded him. I thought I could shield you from that, but I only built a wall. As he spoke of their tangled past, Emily listened, her heart racing with anticipation. Bit by bit, pieces began to lock into place, the piecing together of a fractured puzzle that carried her name. Their tragic family history would finally unfold before her. Among the ketchup stains and scattered plates, Emily gathered courage, feeling more connected than ever before. She shot a look towards Anna, and there was solidarity between them. They were no longer just lost pieces but two women united by the truths they were willing to uncover. The seconds turned to minutes, and as the clock ticked on, she felt tenser and lighter at the same time, the mix of dread and exhilaration. Let us make the call, Emily stated, her voice steady as she reached for her phone. The moment of reckoning had arrived. Her fingers brushed the screen, leaning in closer, not just to embrace the revelation but to shape the narrative from there. And just like that, the weight of secrets lifted slightly. They began to connect where once there had only been shadows. As she pressed the dial to her father's number, Emily suddenly remembered the importance of vulnerability. The world may have thrust her path into uncertainty, but she was no longer alone on this journey. And as the phone rung on the other end, she held her breath, ready for the truth to face the very parts of herself she had been terrified to confront. In the diner, life passed like forgotten shadows outside those glass windows, but inside, the healing had only just begun. This is the moment to embrace the chaos and find true understanding. No more secrets, no more silence, it's time to heal. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.